Hey guys, in this video, I'm going to teach you how to add a bling name like this to your tumblers. So we will first cut the name out in vinyl using our Cricut, and we'll place that vinyl on the tumbler. I have three favorite fonts that I like to use on my tumblers. They are Lovely Mother Script, Beautiful as Thor, and Asley. So I just have a project saved in my Cricut with those fonts, and then I just type out the name in each font and decide which one is my favorite. For this particular name, my favorite is the Lovely Mother Script, so I'm going to use that and weld all the letters together. Then I'm going to use my ruler and see how long I want the name to be max. So here, I think 5.5 inches is going to be perfect. I'm going to go into Cricut and resize the name to be 5.5 inches in width. And then I'm going to go through the motions here in Cricut Design Space to send this cut to my Cricut Joy. I like to use the Cricut Joy for small cuts like this, just because it's a whole lot easier and quicker to use. I recommend always using permanent vinyl. So here I'm using Oracle 651 permanent vinyl. Next, I'm going to sand the vinyl before I weed it. I sand with a really fine sandpaper before weeding because, as you'll see right here, the sandpaper will actually lift up any edges that are raised from the vinyl. Thankfully, that was just an extra piece that's going to get weeded anyway, but you don't want that to happen to the edge or a really skinny piece of the vinyl that you're actually going to use and put on the tumbler. Sanding the vinyl before blinging is actually going to help your glue stick better. So you'll need to clean up the mess after sanding. So just spray some rubbing alcohol on a coffee filter and wipe the vinyl off, and then it's ready to weed. Next, we'll use some transfer tape to add this vinyl straight to our tumbler. But before you actually do stick the vinyl on the tumbler, you'll want to clean the tumbler of any oils, dust, debris, anything like that. This will help keep the vinyl and the rhinestones sticking to the tumbler for much longer. So to clean the tumbler, I'm going to also spray it with rubbing alcohol and then wipe it down with the coffee filter. I always say wipe it down with the coffee filter because unlike a napkin or a tissue paper or even like a towel, the coffee filters don't leave behind any little debris or fibers. So it really does give you the cleanest possible tumbler or surface when you're wiping off that rubbing alcohol. Okay, as you see now, I have placed the name on the tumbler, trying to put it as straight as possible. Next, I'm gonna get my adhesive ready. Now, I like to use the Bob Smith Industries 30-minute cure epoxy. I wouldn't recommend that beginners use this, but it is my favorite, so I'm going to use it in this video. If you're a beginner to blinging, I would recommend using Liquid Fusion or Gem Tack. After mixing my epoxy together, I tried to apply it while still on camera, but I had to take it off camera because I have to be very precise with it so as not to get on the tumbler. But the tumbler is back now, and the vinyl has the epoxy adhesive on it completely applied. It's now ready for me to start putting the rhinestones on. And so I've got 3 different sizes of rhinestones. I got 5 mm, 4 mm, and 3 mm because I am using resin rhinestones. I will use a couple of 2 mm in the really tight spaces that I need to, but I try to stick with just these 3 main sizes. If you're using glass rhinestones, you'll want sizes SS20, SS16, SS12, and then a few SS6s for those super tiny spots. When blinging the name, I like to fill in the thickest part of each letter first. So you'll see here on the A, I filled in the right side using the largest stone, the 5 mm, and I prefer filling in each part of the letter with the biggest stone possible. So on the right side, I use the 5 mm. On the left side of the A, I use the 4 mm. And then on the horizontal line that goes through the 2 sides of the A, I use 3 mm. So you'll notice with those 3 sizes, I was able to make a really full letter A. With thicker fonts, you may need to use 2 rows of rhinestones, and with thinner fonts, you may need to just use smaller rhinestones. Now here in this part of the video, you'll see that I am working on the connection between the A and the N, and it is a tight little squeeze when trying to fill in that little piece. This is an example of where you'll want to use those 2 mm or SS6 size rhinestones. They'll fill in those very tiny gaps and give it a seamless look. so that there's no breakage between one letter to the next. Okay, so I'm going to speed up the rest of this video just because it takes a really long time to bling. I think this name took me 20 to 22 minutes to bling, so it would be a much longer YouTube video if I let it play in real time. I forgot to mention that I would link the tools that I use in this video in the description. So if you're wondering what I'm using, you can take a look there. And then also, guys, this is my second YouTube video tutorial. I'm curious to know how you guys like these, and if you have any other requests for any other tutorials, please let me know in the comments. I would definitely appreciate your feedback. Okay, so in the video, I'm almost done with blinging the name completely, and you'll get a nice preview of what it looks like completely finished. Good luck with blinging your names, and thank you guys so much for watching this video.